Hi, I'm Ricky Kalmon, and welcome to another episode of Amplify Your Mindset. Thank you for listening. I really do appreciate your support. And please check out my new book, Leverage Your Mindset, available online from Amazon, Target, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart. Also, one more thing. Check out my mobile app on mindfulness and meditation. It supports the book and offers you much, much more. Reduce stress, lose weight, increase your self-confidence, self-esteem. Just check it out. Go to your app store and search the title, Ricky Kalmon. Now, let's go on with the show today. As you know from watching my show or listening to my show, I'm always intrigued with people that really stand out, that exceed their own expectations, people that really thrive. And I'm a big fan, and he's on the show. Jourdan, welcome to the program.
I am so excited. Because really, the way you set that up was so good. There were like two ums, but they were so natural. And you know what I'm ready to do? Ask me what I'm ready to do.
What are you ready to do?
I am ready to amplify my mindset, baby. Hey, on a good note, on a true note, as if everything else I said was not true. I've been using your app. And there's a section on it that people may or may not know about, but it's a section to help you sleep. I don't need help sleeping, but it's like a very calming white noise type of thing that you have going on there that almost puts me in a trance. And I'm a hyper guy to begin with.
No, really?
But that really, it's effective on me, that it doesn't make me collapse and fall asleep. It actually makes me relax and get into a meditative state.
I don't even know what you're talking about. We don't even offer that in my app. But I'm just
kidding.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I'm humbled by it. I really do enjoy getting emails and getting responses, feedback from people. In fact, to this day, I look at those and we make adjustments to the app based on user experience. But thank you. I want to go into you, though. The first video I saw of you was this. And if you're listening, my hands are straight up in the air. Somebody just won a championship. It's Rocky recreating the moment from the movie, like he just climbed the steps. And for all the listeners, if you're listening to this on any of your platforms, go to my website, rickykalmon.com, or go through the app and watch this podcast. It'll also be posted on other platforms, YouTube. But because you're going to hear a conversation here that is extremely motivating, very useful information. So if you're in sales, customer service, if you're an entrepreneur, he's going to provide, you disappeared. He's going to provide great information.
Taking my shoes off.
But he will teach you how to be more charismatic than you ever thought. Dan, you have so much energy. The videos have caught my attention. You are extremely viral online now, and I'm so impressed. Yeah. And okay, let's go into something real quick. I know I'm talking, but you said something before off the air. You were giving me a compliment, and I said, Dan, we're creatures of our creatures alike. If we don't do something, nothing happens.
Yes. And I love that. And, the thing is this, you talked about the energy that comes out and the arms in the air. And I learned this early on, just in high school, when you're trying to figure out who you really are, and I knew instinctively I didn't have the brains of some other people. And I was athletic, but not really that good in team sports. And how to find I didn't have the looks stunning looks that make things happen for you. But what I had was I had to find something in my control, and energy is something within your control. And I found that if you have to say something and you don't really know what you're saying, but say it loudly, people kind of take it like it means something. But that was the lesson I learned early on. So since then you start learning stuff. But yeah, that's my shtick. My shtick is energy, and it's become part of me. And it's something that you can control. It's something that I can control and I could bring to the table. And what I found is that people crave it. Mm-hmm. There's two types of people. My dad told me, he said, Danny, there's two. My dad's he's a Jewish Frenchman, little guy, and whenever he would give me advice, he would, his accent. So whenever I repeat it, I always use his accent, and he would say, he would say, when he wanted to give me something good, it would always start like this: Danny, in this country. And then he would tell me what's going on. He said, Danny, in this country, there's two types of people. There's people that walk in a room and can light the place up. And there's people that light the place up when they leave. He goes, you be the first,
So true. So true. So we're gonna talk about sales. We're gonna talk about being an entrepreneur here. You're a content person. You've got an incredible bank of information in teaching people to really be better versions of themselves, which is my world. But you're really a coach in the world of sales. And by the way, I love your philosophy. If we're not showing you results, don't use us. And it's pretty much, hey, it's all like, we're going to show you. You're so confident what you do.
Well, I mean, the whole sales is all about risk and reward. And so people, whether or not they're going to risk their money and their time, and more importantly, feeling like a fool for making a mistake, versus what they expect the goals and the outcomes to be. And so that's all sales is mitigating that whole process, whether or not you believe me or not. And so a good salesperson really allows themselves to get caught. It's like what my wife teaches my daughter about how to find a good man. Figure out a way to get caught. And really, that's what sales is. And if you can consistently, so you mentioned that I put out a lot of content. I put out a lot of content to give a lot of value. It's my firm belief that when you give tremendous, and I mean tremendous amounts of value, you create a hole in the universe. And there's the law that I invented. It's called the law of even Steven. And that is that the universe has to fill it in. It's never, if there's day, there's night. If there's good, there's bad. If there's hot, there's cold, and different variations of all those. But it has to even out. So when I give value to anybody listening here on the show right now, if you grab something here that like changes your life, I have zero expectation that I'm going to be paid back from you. I mean, none. I mean, I have as much expectation that I'm going to be paid back by you as much as I expect to see Godzilla walk, in my Southern Command Center down here. Zero. But I have full expectation that the universe will fill it in, that someone will come into my life to repay me 10, 20, 30 fold. And this is, how I teach my children. This is how we coach. And so whenever you're struggling with a slump, or you're struggling with, a relationship, the answer is always found in the mirror. And the answer is always found by answering the question, how can I give more?
Right. That's very well said. So here's this high energy, very enthusiastic, not quiet sales coach. Was not always a sales coach.
No. So here's the quick and dirty story. Okay. If anyone's interested. So I had I'm a mama's boy by definition. I mean, just as a kid, I'm one of those kids that I didn't enjoy going out drinking at night because for fear of missing the sound of the birds in the morning. And it's still the same way. I just love the birds in the morning. So that's me as a kid. I was the one who was annoying the neighbors with a basketball at 6:30 in the morning on Saturday. I'm that guy. Very family oriented, all that thing. When I'm a senior in high school, my parents decided to get divorced out of the blue. I mean, I didn't even know about it, that it was going on. I was so clueless that there was any trouble in the house. My sister came home from college to tell me, mommy and daddy are getting divorced. I'm like, this is and so I kind of went nuts. And that's when I kind of realized I got to find myself and do all this stuff. And so I was angry. And so my parents had dutifully saved up all their money throughout the years to send both their kids to college. And it was very important to them. And so to take it out on them, because I was a terrible, rotten child, I somehow gathered that money, and before they figured out what hit them, I bought a deli. Actually, it was a butcher shop. It was like in the next town over. I bought a business, and spent it all. Here we go. And I ran that. I turned that butcher shop into a deli, and I ran that thing for 7 years. There was a little split in the middle that we can go into later with a hitchhiking trip, but I ran that thing for 7 years. Sold it, and went on to several other businesses. I had that business. I had a restaurant supply business in Manhattan. I became a stockbroker. I had a pest control business. I had a lawn care business. I had a truck rental business altogether. Sold all that. I had a business brokerage business. We would buy and sell businesses. I did that for years. And then I had a staffing company. We sold that. And now here I am now with this consulting. But my proudest moment, you want to hear my proudest moment?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll tell you my proudest moment. And I haven't thought about this in a long time, so I'm breaking it out specially here on the Ricky Kalmon Show. My proudest moment is my first business that I sold, the DJ's Country Deli. And that's my initials, DJ, Deej, all that stuff. DJ's Country Deli, I sold that I was 25 years old for $170,000, which was more money than I could possibly even imagine. I took all that money and I put it into an investment account that I was doing. And that money, all of it, paid for my dad's retirement because he was an immigrant, never saved anything, for the rest of his life.
Wow.
And so after I sold that, that was the first time I started from zero again, which happens many more times in the life of an entrepreneur.
All right. So fast forward, you've got all these skills. What made you go into this line of business to be a coach? Because obviously you're not a quiet person. Obviously, you like to share.
Yeah.
I'm sure the answer is going to be obvious, but I'm curious though. What was the spark to be a sales coach to help other businesses do what you've done?
Yes. Yeah. Well, that actually is a good question. A lot of people ask the why question, but you're also asking the what question.
What did you?
Yeah. That's
you're a type of guy that I think that literally you could probably do anything. There's probably any business you would do it, and you would do it very, very well because of you are a brand ambassador.
Well, now I am, because I have a couple of years under my belt and my hair's gray, but what I really would see myself as is not a businessman. I know exactly what I am. I'm a hunter. That's what I like. I like waking up in the morning and starting with nothing. I have a morning routine. You probably too. I wake up in the morning. I say thank you. And the next question is, my goal is to meet 10 new people today. That's what gets me rocking and rolling. The idea that you could start from it's just, for me, it's magic. I remember my daughter. She was probably 10 or 11. My dad had just left my house. He lived with me for 9 years, but he got ill. And so we had to send him to a nursing home, but we had his old wheelchair. And so I said, hey, Sophie, we have this wheelchair here. Why don't you see if you can sell it and see what you can happen? And so she went on Craigslist or whatever she did, and she sold for $50, and she sold this wheelchair. And I can't forget, she ran into the house and she looked at me and she says, Daddy, look at this. And she showed me the $50. She says, Daddy, look at this. This morning I had nothing. And from nothing, I made this. And that's the magic. That's what grabs me every morning. That's what grabs me, that the beauty of being a salesperson is from nothing. You can make something. And I just think that, that now running the business, that's why I sold all the businesses, by the way, because I like growing them. I'm really good at growing businesses. And I know I could help anybody grow a business. You put in enough effort in the right place, in the right mentality, and you offer enough value, you can grow a business. But then you have to run the business. And that's not fun for me. My poor wife, who puts up with this, she goes, why do we always have to start from zero again? Why can't you set it up like this? And the honest answer is I just can't. And I know that about myself. And so here I am.
I talk to a lot of people that are very comfortable with a warm blanket, meaning 9 to 5, clock in,
Yeah.
clock out, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong whatsoever. They also don't, they get, they're very uncomfortable with change. They're uncomfortable with new things, and they don't embrace it as though change is an opportunity. Change could spark something in yourself that will exceed your own expectations. You work with companies to help them thrive and really build sales. I mean,
Mm.
you are the ultimate solution provider when it comes to training a culture.
Well, a specific type of culture, because some people, and the reason, a lot of the times, the reason why I say listen, we have no contracts. We have no contracts, nothing to keep you here. You can quit anytime. It's X amount a month. See you later, potato. And a lot of times, I'll tell people on the front, listen, I do things differently, and it may not fit into your culture. Maybe it's not the right fit. And that's why I do it month to month. So if there's a problem, we can go away and we're still friends. And,
Mhm.
many times I'm pushing, by the way, that in terms of sales, that there's the saying for it, which I think is kind of rude. They call it the takeaway close, where you're kind of pushing people away and take away. But if you're honest and sincere about it, this is changing. Because, my philosophy is this: if you're not growing, you're shrinking. If you're not climbing, you're sliding. There's no in between. Half effort doesn't give you half results. Half effort gives you no results. And so I'm going to come after this with reckless abandon, and we're going to make some mistakes along the way. How I find out how a message, listen, I'm on a roll here, so break in if you need to. So how I found out whether or not a message is working is because I'm on the phone doing the message, adjusting until I'm getting the response I want. Then I share it. Then that's how I can guarantee that we can get stuff moving right away. That plus the fact that my superpower is I'm able to connect people with other people and do partnerships and all that. But man, my philosophy is before I go on any sales call, I have a little mantra that I use for myself. You talked about the arm raising. Oh, this is where it comes from. It comes from, when you jump on home plate after you just hit a home run, you don't just say, hey, how you doing? You put your arms in it. You just won something. But I have this little mantra. Mantra is this: I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader. I'm a force for good, force for God, set the standard, defy the odds. I stand up, I take charge, I win. And then I walk in. I'm like a flipping animal. I mean, I've hypnotized myself and put myself in a state of mind that there are times when I'm in the zone, when I'm going good, when I have the total Deej on, because the Deej is an alter ego for me. When I have the total Deej working, man, I feel sorry for the poor people that don't get to talk to me that day. I mean, that's the energy. Sales is a transfer of energy more than anything else.
Well, you hit on a lot of things just now. And one of them, you said the word hypnosis, but you did hypnotize yourself. You did program your brain because you chose to change the reality from where you were to where you want to be. And many times in sales or even in life, we have a lot going on around us. We can't control those things, but we can control how we perceive and react to them. And
Mm-hmm.
before a presentation, before getting up in the morning, if you say something to yourself, the words we say to ourselves internally and externally, they have the power, and I will say this again, they have the power to change our world. And I don't mean that lightly, but think about the people that are always negative or pessimistic or doubtful or fearful or just in a rut of I could never be as good as. And my answer is you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Because you say it and you believe it. By you getting up in the morning, before you go online, I don't know you, but I'm sure that I know you by this because I've gotten to know you a little bit through your videos. I'm sure you just don't go, all right, what am I going to talk about? Okay, I'll do that. No, you put effort to influence the outcome, and you do turn it on to the alter ego, but I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
same person. I think these are lessons for people that before you pick up the phone, think about the words you're going to say, how you're going to react to people, because that's what's going to leave not only an impression on them, it can leave an impression on you.
Well, yeah, and between every call, because think of all the input that you get, all the years and years of hypnotizing or programming yourself to
Mhm.
act a certain way, and it's very comfortable to go back to that. I mean,
Absolutely.
with almost every call. So if you're making calls saying, "Oh, I got to sell this," "Oh, I got to sell this," "I got to sell this," you're pushing a rope uphill. I mean, it's going to bend. It's very difficult. But
Mhm.
if in between each call you say, "Man, I got something to give them. I want to give them something. I want to
Right.
give. I'm trying to give you an opportunity. I'm trying to give that." Just that changes everything. I have 3 values that I live by. Usually I talk about my son a lot, but right now I'm talking about my daughter because she made this for me. It's just a big sign that we have hanging up in the hallway. So as soon as I walk out, I see this, and it's my three values that I've instilled in them forever, but they just love it. And they are gratefulness, courage, and kindness. And so she made a big thing for me that just says, have courage and be kind. And it's just beautiful. And so the gratefulness part comes, I say, the biggest thing you could do is say thank you in the morning before you wake up, right when you wake up and right before you go to bed. Just say thank you, not to anybody in particular or anything in particular. I'm not asking anybody to do anything that they're not comfortable with God-like, but I'm asking you just to say thank you, because in your brain, you're going to start thinking, well, what am I thanking for? What do I have to be grateful for? And then, you know what happens, Ricky? You find it.
Well, yes. You unconsciously find it because you're
Yes.
thinking it
When you
unconsciously.
ask the
Yeah.
right questions, you come up with much better answers.
Before this recording, I actually did a presentation for 7 people and one of my clients, and we talked about words. And you're referring to the words that your daughter made, the 3 words that
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
powerful meaning. But those are just a word is just letters and sounds until we give it meaning. And as we grow in life, we store these meanings and perceptions of these words, these memories, these experiences of gratitude and confidence. What does that mean? When you're 8 years old and you hear the word gratitude or confidence, it's just a word. It's a big word. And you're
Yeah.
like, how do you describe it? But over a lifetime, we store the software of that meaning. It's how you use it is very powerful. You're using these words in such a powerful way. Let's talk about your business real quick, because
Yes.
I want to talk about the training. I want to talk about you, what you offer. Let's share.
Okay. Well, thank you. Well, listen, the deal is always the same, but we do it for individuals very inexpensively, and we do it for companies a little more expensively. But the whole idea is for helping individuals grow in their sales ability. And I have to say this one thing before we start. Everybody, how long have you been married?
20 years next week.
Oh, really? 20
Yeah.
years. God bless. That's awesome. So here's the thing. Somehow you're a decent looking guy. I mean, you're not Richard Gere or something. You're a decent looking guy. But here somehow you manage to corral another human being to,
Oh, I'm not worthy, by the way. I am so not
yeah,
worthy.
to not only spend the rest of her life with you, but forsake every other human on the planet. And there's like 7.5 billion of them. And you don't think that you're a salesman? Everybody is in sales. You know exactly what to do to give a compelling interest to somebody else, to prospect, to consistently follow up and prove yourself worthy, and then to ask for the close at the end. And there's no bigger close. I still consider my wife, when I first met her, I came here to Atlanta to meet a friend. He took me to some party, met some girl, blonde hair, Southern accent, bakes pies. Oh, his place is great. Moved here 2 weeks later. Asked the girl to go out with me. She says no. And I said, what do you mean? No, I moved here. She's like, I have a boyfriend. I said, I moved here. Anyway, so the next week I asked her out again. She says no. The next week I asked her out again. She says no. 26 times I asked the girl out, always upping the ante. Finally, I had good seats to a Met game here in Atlanta, Brave game, whatever. And so we went to the game and we started dating. We finally got married, 25 years, 2 kids. It's still my best sale. But I did ask her, I said, why did you finally agree to go out with me? And her answer was, it was so clean and so perfect. She says, I figured if you were willing to work this hard to get me, you'd be willing to work equally as hard to keep me. And
well said.
And that's sales. By the way, she hasn't baked a pie since. But what I learned from that is you always have to keep on. You have to keep on following up. You have to consistently keep doing the right things, because every day you have to earn that customer back and back and back. So our program is. Our programs are this. For companies, we have a company. It's a month-to-month program. It's $3,000 a month, and we build your sales systems. We build your sales teams, and then we recruit the right people to do it, and then we train them up as long as you want, and as long as you keep getting results. And we do the same thing for individuals, but individuals is much cheaper. It's $50 a month. It's a coaching program. We meet once a week. It's a group coaching thing. No contracts, cancel anytime, and it's awesome. And we'll put those links below.
Yeah, and I'll make sure that everything is at rickykalmon.com. I also want to encourage people, again, at the top of this recording, I actually said I saw you online. And, you flip through social media, and a lot of the platforms don't play sound at first. You have to actually click in and say, okay, yep, turn the volume up. And what really captures our attention these days is when something is either just so shocking like a train wreck, or it's just like, who is that person? And of course, I'm talking about you when I see this guy, and it's like, the sun hasn't even come up. It's dark. He's doing a good morning, everybody, and just your hands are up in the air. I see this, your mouth. I'm like, okay, I got to watch this guy. And I started watching, and, you're an incredible storyteller. You have great examples, but here's what I found so interesting about you. You get people thinking. So now I'm listening to a story or an example or something that caught my attention. You do give value, totally free, these videos. Go to LinkedIn, follow Dan. And literally, again, it was funny because when we talked on the phone the first time, you said, hey, I'm doing this new thing right now. I'm doing cold showers. I said, Dan, I know. I watched your video. Now, you do a whole thing about doing cold showers. By the way, Dan, I've done 2 cold showers.
Oh, have you?
I have. And why? Why? Now, if somebody said, go do a cold shower in the morning, it might wake you up. It might get the blood flowing, whatever. Yeah. Big deal, right? Nothing. No. You were so descriptive, so enthusiastic. You were describing a piece of that pie. And I had to try that pie. So I did a cold shower. I've done 2 of them. And I'm a warm shower guy, but I did enjoy it. But again, did it wake me up? What's the purpose? Did it get me going? Did it get me thinking about purpose, about my driven passion, about helping people and helping organizations grow? Yes. I woke up a little bit more that day. So thank you, Dan.
Well, listen, I'm here. If nothing else, I can help people take cold showers. So, it doesn't have to be change. Change doesn't happen. You don't need to take big steps. Right. My grandmother actually taught me about this. Everybody goes through their times of, depression and all sorts of things that, what are you looking to find yourself? Maybe on another podcast, we'll talk about hitchhiking trips and things. I'll have you on mine. We'll talk about. But my grandmother said to me, you know what you need to do? Floss your teeth. I know you do it, once in a while, but just floss. Make that a habit. And just a little small habit, a little change. If you do it for 30 days, all of a sudden you're doing something just for yourself, which takes virtually no effort. But for the rest of the day, you could check that one off. It's just, I did something for myself.
I love it. We're going to leave it on that. Do something for yourself, invest in yourself, and amplify your mindset. Dan, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you. It's been the best podcast this afternoon.